Thank you very much, Joseph. Xin chào, ni hao, namaste, buonasera, yasu, assalamu alaikum. That's about as far as I can go tonight. G'day. It's wonderful to be here tonight. Can I thank all of you who are here in attendance? Can I also particularly acknowledge the Gadigal people and elders past and present and emerging? Can I also acknowledge any veterans who are in the room tonight and those who are serving in our Australian Defence Forces, and simply say to you on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you so much for your service and what you've done to give us the wonderful country that we have today. And no least amongst those wonderful group of veterans of those who've come from many other nations and served in our Defence Forces, defending the very freedoms which they came to find in our country. And that is an important story, as I'm sure Major General Jeffrey would concur with me. That's a story that also needs to be told within our great defence story as Australians. Can I acknowledge, of course, Her Excellency Margaret Beazley here with us this evening. Can I acknowledge Joseph Asaf and Angela, our dear friends, and it's wonderful for Jenny and I to be back here amongst you this evening. My many ministerial colleagues who are here tonight, in particular David Coleman, the Minister for Immigration, Citizenship, Migrant Services and Multicultural Affairs, who's doing an outstanding job, and Michael Suka. Andrew Giles is representing Anthony Albanese as the Leader of the Opposition, and Tony Burke and I have been to many of these functions together over a long period of time, and it's good to see you here again supporting these tonight, Tony. And can I also thank all the judging panel who's been introduced to you this evening. Can I particularly thank Carla for making Jenny look so fantastic. She doesn't need help, I don't think, at all, in my view. But I think, Carla, thank you, and particularly at the White House, she would look absolutely stunning, and she was one of your wonderful creations. This is a really special night. It's a night to acknowledge those who have come to Australia, not to take a contribution, but to make one. And in making a great contribution to our country, they've made us stronger. And their story has become part of the great Australian story. And it's something that we can all celebrate. And that's what these awards are about. And it doesn't matter how long ago people have come to this country, only our first Australians have always been here. For the rest of us, at some point, we've always come from somewhere else. And when people have come to this country, they haven't always found the easiest of circumstances, but through their effort and their determination and their resilience, through their passion, through their love for their family and for their love for their adopted country, they have found the patriot's love, as Sir Henry Parkes used to talk about, and that has fuelled their great success. And sure, there were failures and there were setbacks and there are all of these things, but their determination has become so much part of the great Australian story. This year marks the 70th anniversary of the Snowy Hydro Scheme. And that is a tremendous story all of its own, as those who came from some of the most difficult of circumstances. I met a bloke a few weeks ago, Tommy, who worked on the Snowy Hydro Scheme. He's now well into his 90s. He still does the ski patrol down in the Snowy, and he was one of those original workers. And he came out after coming out of a concentration camp in Europe. He weighed 37 kilos when he came out. And he found a great life in this country, for which he has always been forever grateful. And he was one of the many who came together to build one of the most amazing engineering works that Australia has ever seen. But tonight is also an opportunity to acknowledge our Indigenous Australians. Our Indigenous Australians who really have embraced the opportunities that business presents. And I'm pleased to say that a key part of our government's policy is to support them in their efforts. Almost 1,500 businesses, Indigenous businesses, have won contracts now worth more than $1.8 billion, up from just 30 businesses with contracts worth $6 million when we first came to government. These businesses are transforming the lives of Indigenous Australians. They are giving many young Indigenous women and men their first chance of a job in the country which they love, and I mean on country where they love. A job does so much. It provides the skills, the confidence, the self-respect, the mentors, the friendships, and provides for that independence, security and stability. $1.8 billion in contracts will keep growing because we've laid out procurement targets for the next 8 years, and we've seen in so many countries in the world how this will transform communities and countries through the enterprise and the jobs that are afforded by these opportunities. This is the country where I like to say, if you have a go, you get a go. And those who have come here tonight as finalists, I congratulate you for having a go and ensuring that you've been able to translate that passion into something very real, building your community, supporting your families, and creating a stronger Australia. I'm reminded also this year, Jenny and I just this week, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Daltone House. Now, if you live in Sydney, if you haven't had a meal at Daltone House, I'd be surprised. And if you're from the Shire, well, it's impossible. You have every third meal there on occasion, particularly as a local MP. But Daltone House, which is run by the Signorelli family, his father came to this country when he was just 19 years old, Biagio. He arrived in Australia in 1954 from Sicily. And he landed on the wharf down in Pyrmont. And there is a wonderful sculpture of him and his family titled Life from a Suitcase. And what's wonderful about that statue, if you've seen it, is at that very wharf today is one of Daltone House's, the company run by his son Paul, runs right along that wharf. And it's one of the most successful hospitality businesses in this country. The very wharf that Biagio set foot on now is the site of one of the great ethnic businesses in Australia today. So tonight we come together and we celebrate all of these stories. I love hearing these stories because it just fills me with an irrepressive optimism about Australia's future. Our migrant communities, from wherever they've come from, have had to overcome great challenges, and we have great challenges today. But we will never be daunted by them because we have these stories to remind us about what all Australians can achieve, whatever their background, whatever their faith, whatever their first language may have been. The story of this country is one of great optimism, overcoming all challenges. And at the end of the day, I think that's what we're celebrating tonight. Thank you so much for your attention, and congratulations once again, Joseph.